Right lads, what is going on boys? Welcome everybody back to another video. We've got some new objectives, a Showdown Yarmolenko, a Showdown Thiago and Mendes. Today lads, we're going to be looking at the Yarmolenko objective, and then we'll have a look at the Mendes objective in the next video. So lads, if you guys are new to these objective guides, essentially what we do, we go over all of these objectives. I'll give you guys my tips and tricks on how you can complete them fast, and the most anticipated part of the video, it's 6 AM, I haven't really slept yet, so allowed, I'm fumbling some words, but the most anticipated part of the video, I'm going to build you guys a squad between maybe 15 and 20,000 coins you can use to complete this card. Now if you guys do have any questions, make sure to let me know down below. I do like to think I answer most of the most common questions that I do get. I've done probably well over 100 objective guides throughout last FIFA and this FIFA, so I do answer some of the most common questions I do get in the video. Without further ado boys, let's get into it. So starting off, we've got assist 3 goals with through balls in the live FUT Friendly Premier League, which we'll go have a look at that FUT Friendly in a minute. But assist 3 goals with through balls is going to be triangle if you are on PlayStation and Y if you are on Xbox. Now this doesn't just have to be a tap of Y, you can double tap it and it'll be like a little lofted pass, like a little lofted through ball. That will also count as long as the way you're getting the assist is through pressing triangle / Y. Score 2 outside of the box goals in the live FUT Friendly, which is quite self-explanatory. Now if I have to give you a tip for this one, if you are really struggling to give it outside of the box shots, what you can do is chuck a pause, message your opponent, have a look at your opponent's gamer tag, chuck him a message, download the Xbox or PlayStation app on your phone, and you can type it in whilst playing so it doesn't kick you out, and say, hey man, if I let you get an outside of a box goal, can you do the same for me? And go from there. We've then got win 4 matches in the live FUT Friendly and score using a player with at least a 4-star weak foot in 8 separate matches. So it's going to take 8 separate matches. Now I can already look at these and say golden goal is going to be very popular, and I'll get into the golden goal in a minute and why I recommend doing it. But if we go and have a look at this Premier League game mode, now it's under live FUT Friendly. Premier League, where is it at? Premier League, right, so okay, so live opponent, okay, so that's interesting. So it looks like when you're going to be using the Premier League, as you can see below my webcam, it says live opponent League Liège, so you're going to be playing people. That's actually really interesting. So basically, when you're doing the Yarmolenko objectives in the Premier League game mode, you're only going to be matching the Ligue 1 team. You're going to only going to be matching people doing the Thiago and Mendes objectives. So that's quite interesting. But anyway, so you'll be facing Ligue 1 teams. The requirements, exactly 18 Premier League players, which means on the bench you can have them on your substitutes, at most 1 lone player and 5 first owned players. Now the 5 first owned players doesn't clarify if it has to be on your bench, like if you need the first owned players in your team, or if you can have them on the bench. That I'm not 100% sure about. EA simply haven't clarified that. But if I had to guess, I could say that you could use those 5 first owned players and just have them on the bench, but just to be safe, we'll go down, have them in your starting lineup. But let's get into the starting 11. Let's get into the cheap squad builder, I should say. Right, so this is the team we have built. It's a cheap Premier League side. Now, don't worry, we're still going to do the bench as well. But as I said, now it says 5 first owner players, and it didn't clarify if the first owner players have to be in the starting 11 or on the bench. So just to make sure, I mean, we've got 1 first owner player in our team. Basically, first owner is players you've packed, or maybe SBCs, players you're a first owner of. For example, all these concept players cannot be first owner because you're going to go and buy them. So what you're going to want to do, you need 18 Premier League players, 11 in the starting 11, and then I think 7 on the bench, right? So that makes 18. So what you're going to want to do is search your club after you've copied the team that I've used if you don't have one, and as you can see, there we go, Pogba is first owner, Elenga is first owner, Diallo is first owner, Boone is, like, all of these guys are first owner by the looks of it. So I can get all my first owner boys on there. There we go, happy days. Now as you can see, we've got the full bench, we've got 18 Premier League players, and we have got the 5 first owner players. Now if you do need the first owner players in your starting 11, then simple as you can just chuck them in your starting 11, a straight little switch like that. I know lots of you guys probably may not have done these objectives, the silver objectives, so you might not have them, but we've got the 5 first owner players on the bench anyway. So if this does work, then happy days. If not, you'll simply, whoops, let me do that. If this doesn't work and they do have to be in the starting 11, simply just chuck them in the starting 11. But as for the cheap team that we have gone for, lads, we've gone for Ollie Watkins up top. He's not an amazing card, but you can definitely get the job done. Remember as well, this is only valued at around 20,000 coins, so it's a very cheap and meta squad builder that you can use. You've got Ollie Watkins, 78 rated, some solid pace, okay shooting, and average dribbling. Right striker, we've gone for Anthony Martial. He's just gone back into packs. He was just in Fantasy Foot. He's now back into packs, so he won't be too expensive. And this card I can vouch for a lot. 4-star. Honestly, he's just that guy. He always shreds you. Left mid, we've gone for Saint Maximin. 5-star skill moves, great agility, great pace. Everything you want is a left mid. 2 centre mids is Decore and Oxlade-Chamberlain. Now, these two complement each other very well. You've got Decore, who's a more defensive styled player. Then you've got Oxlade-Chamberlain, who can get forward a little bit. 87 balance, solid pace. So you've got Decore, who can stay back. And then you've got Oxlade-Chamberlain, who's kind of a little bit better and you can be more comfortable with on the ball. Right mid, we've gone for Rafinha. Left back, Reguilon with Joe Gomez and RK as your 2 centre backs. Right back, Fredericks, and in net Mendy. We have to, man. He is an absolute giant, 6'6", very overpowered. So, as I said, boys, this is the team. I've only got one first owner player in my starting 11, but I've got a full bench of first owner players. So, I got 8 first owner players right now. And as I said, if the first owner players, EA didn't clarify, but if the first owner players do have to be in your starting 11, then simply get your first owner players in. Now, we're going to go into the tips and tricks now, and there's going to be a little bonus trick, which I'm going to do now. Now, if you guys are struggling for first owner Premier League players, now obviously there's a simple play the game, wait for rewards, get your rewards, hopefully you get something like that. But honestly, what I will recommend doing to you guys is, if you do not have a first owner players, you want the first owner players, head on over to the upgrades. Where's the upgrades at? I swear they changed this. You got league swaps. Okay, it must be in Foundation. So, as you can see, what I recommend doing is a silver upgrade. Basically, you can trade 11 silver players and you get 3 gold common players. Just a little bit of a trick for those for those of you that might not have thought it through. If you are looking for Premier League players, remember, it doesn't matter if it's shit players, but chuck them in. You need 11 silver players, you get 3 gold common players in return, and surely a few Premier League players will pop up now and again. If you do 5 of those packs, then boom, that's 15 gold common players, and I think 15 of those gold common players, you could be getting at least 2, maybe even 3 Premier League first owner players. So if you are struggling for first owner Premier players, that's what you want to do. Now, heading into the tips, lads, tip number 1 is going to be golden goal. If you are going to be doing golden goal, simply make your team name golden goal, so when you do load up into the game, your opponent will see your team name and he'll be like, okay, this dude's going to be doing golden goal. Happy days, and you'll go from there. Now, essentially, golden goal. Basically, if you concede first, you pause and quit. If you score first, your opponent will pause and quit. Now, not everyone will be doing this, but in my opinion, it speeds the process up so much, and you guys can both get these objectives done so easily. Like, you quit when you go 1-0 down, easy as. Obviously, you do need to make sure you get the through ball assists, and the outside of the box goals. But if you do manage to get them, you go 1-0 up, your opponent quits, happy days. If you do go 1-0 down, simply just back out, get into a new game, and happy days. Like, by the time it would take you to usually play one full 15-minute game, you could easily get maybe 6 or 7 golden goals done in the time it would usually take, right? So it's just a very smart process to speed it up. Now, tip number 2, lads, is going to be chemistry styles. Now, I'm going to flick on over to the footbin view here. So chemistry styles, in my opinion, are going to be very crucial in this game mode. Now, if you guys don't have any high tier Premier League players in the first place, and you are copying the team that I'm using, sorry boys, accidentally bumped my mic here, but if you are copying the team I'm using, then what you're going to want to do is you are going to want to keep the chem styles on. And basically, chemistry styles, we're using footbin as an example here. I'm not sponsored by them or anything like that. As I said, I'm just using them as an example. Take Martial, for example, 2,200 coins. Remember, once we are using his United version, it's a little bit more expensive. Beware, do not buy his Sevilla version. Make sure you pick up his United version. But as you can see, say chuck a marksman on him, he gets +7 shooting, +9 dribbling, +6 physical, and although he's 81 rated, he's going to perform, if you can see there, like an 86 rated card in game. So he's going to perform 5 ratings above his actual rating with that chem style. You don't have to go out and buy hunters for your attackers and shadows for your defenders, but just chuck some on if you got some. For example, I got a marksman. There we go. We chuck that on Ollie Watkins. It costs 200 coins if you want to buy it, and boom, he goes to 90 finishing, 80 shot power, 81 long shots. He gets a +5 reactions, +10 ball control and dribbling, plus 10 strength, and a plus 7 jumping. So he's got that extra little boost that may be the difference between you winning and you not winning. Lads, we're going to go over it, recap it one more time. Now, obviously, this is a relatively easy objective. You only need to score in 8 separate matches with it, which should only take you an hour max if you are doing the golden goal. So assist 3 goals with through balls, which is Y/triangle, score 2 outside of the box goals, self-explanatory. If you are struggling, make sure you have the Xbox or PlayStation app on your phone, chuck your opponent a message and ask him, like, you know, I'll let you get an outside of a box if you do the same for me. You've got win 4 matches in the live FUT Friendly, and you've got the score using a player with at least 4-star weak foot. Now for the player that's 4-star weak foot, I believe Anthony Martial is 4-star. Watkins also is a 4-star weak foot, so that goes with that. And now a reminder with the first owner players, just make sure you have the first owner players on your bench. It will say under brought for if it's first owner or not. As you can see, I've got a full bench of 7 first owner players. Now if you guys do need to have a first owner players in your starting lineup, simply chuck them in your team and you're good to go. If you guys did enjoy, and I'll see you guys later.